Yo, what up? Today we're talking about Catch Me If You Can by Frank Abagnale. Not Abagnale, not Abagnale, Abagnale. And if you know that reference, then you've seen the movie. But growing up, this was one of my favorite movies, like, of all time. It was, like, honestly one of the first movies that really got me into watching movies. And I've always been a huge Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio fan, so it was bound to happen. But I've seen the film countless times, and then I found out just this past year that it was a book. I was just looking at, I don't even know where, honestly, but I ended up finding it on eBay for like $4, and I just absolutely loved this cover. I'm really happy with it. Definitely going to keep this copy, but this comes in at 262 pages, and I gave it a 5 out of 5, and it was probably one of my more enjoyable reads from this year. It was just fast-paced, fun, page turner. I just didn't want to put it down. It was honestly everything I could have hoped for and was expecting it to be, so there wasn't any crazy curveballs or anything like that, but it was honestly probably better than what I was expecting. He didn't write it himself. A man named Stan Redding helped him, but I mean, the writing was really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I definitely suggest it. But a little bit about this, if you didn't know, this was published in 1980. Frank Abagnale is known as one of the most notorious like bank fraud, like check fraud people, and he is actually a head of like that division in the FBI now. I don't know if he still does it, but back then. Yeah, he's still alive today, but I think he's retired. But yeah, so he was a head of that division in the FBI, or kind of started it, and that's what the book and movie is about. And so about the author is kind of about the book as well, so we're merging author info and summary together. And he was born in 1948. Like I said, he's still alive today. He was a former con man, check forger, and imposter from age 15 to 21. Excuse me. Yeah, he was old for his age, so he could get by at 15, as an 18 or 21-year-old. No one really questioned it. After his parents' divorce, he ran away from home at 15, and this is kind of how he started making money, and it just kind of escalated from there. It went from just a few times, and it kind of became an addiction, and he just was hitting every place he went. He would hit a bank, and and eventually he just had too much money to know what to do with. But but yeah, it's honestly what's the word? I can't think of the word. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, I already mentioned the divorce. But yeah, it looks like I already said everything that I wrote down already without even looking. But honestly, my favorite part about this book was reading about, at the end, he gets caught. I mean, this isn't really a spoiler. I mean, kind of already know that. But and he gets caught, and he gets thrown into prison in France, I believe. It's definitely a European country. I definitely want to say France. And his experience being in there was honestly probably my favorite part of the book, even though it was probably the most disgusting and hardest part to read, mainly because after reading my Down and Out in Paris and London, I can never find the books when I'm looking for them. Oh well. But that George Orwell book about, in and out of homeless houses and stuff like that, it kind of reminded me of that, because they were essentially prisons. But yeah, even in this was published in 1980, so 1960s and 1970s, the prisons in Europe were absolutely horrendous. They were literally, I mean, especially in France, they were just literally just like a box of cement that you couldn't stand up all the way in or you couldn't lay down all the way. It was like 5x5, and it was disgusting. They didn't wash it. You had like a bucket for a bathroom, and you got fed like, you know, moldy bread like once a day or something like that. And it was incredible. And he was supposed to, I mean, he was in there for 6 months, and he like couldn't believe it was only that long. Thought it'd been like at least a year. And come to find out, he was supposed to do that for every single country that he committed fraud in. But as you find out, that's not the case. He becomes the FBI director. But definitely suggest reading it. If you haven't seen the movie, watch that too. I don't think it would really affect either way which one you read or watched first. But I definitely suggest both of them. So go check them out.